Anything to say? I see you are listed on the order paper erroneously.
Yes, I think listing of my name in the order paper just tells you how many people have fallen in love with me. Mr. Speaker, I want to recognize and acknowledge the statement that has been given by the chairperson in charge of implementation committee, the Honorable Wanjara, who is also my senior and my friend. I appreciate that he has taken time to come up with that very heavy statement. And I also appreciate that he understands that there's a lot of pressure that is coming from our parents who have suffered for a long time in the hands of school administrators, school principals and teachers who dictate where to buy uniform, which uniform, how much to buy, and when to buy, which is against the law, the competition authority laws that govern forces of markets. However, appreciating that the statement has been laid on the table of the House this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, as a parent, I'm still not satisfied. My prayer through this House, Honorable Speaker, please protect me from the members who are ahead of me, in front of me. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, my prayer,
the other one is sitting down. Now you are safe.
My prayer to this House, Mr. Speaker, behind the motion that I tabled and we debated unanimously, was to ask the Ministry of Education to come up with a policy. Instead of them coming up with a policy, which is a binding document that any teacher that contravenes that policy can be taken to the court of law, they have taken a shortcut and they have issued a circular. My question is, that is a very single parent in Budalangi constituency who has been suffering through this exploitation of uniform purchase. Will that parent get to know there is a circular? Mr. Speaker, a circular is a document that is used for internal communication. It is a document that is going to be used by the school administrators and school managers and their administration. But the parents are not aware there is a circular. So come January, the same problem I've been fighting of exploitation will be repeated, Mr. Speaker. So why is the ministry running away from coming up with a policy? A document that can be tabled anywhere and can be used in the court of law should the parents be exploited and feel that their rights have been violated. Mr. Speaker, as a lawmaker, in line with Article 53 of the Kenyan Constitution that provides for the rights...
Wanjala, what are you doing? And even if she was, you have no right to just stand up and pretend that you want to contribute to a matter. Wanjala, you are totally out of order. And she correctly described you as her senior. So you know the rules better, in my estimation. Carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for protecting me. Mr. Wanjala should be informed that the woman for the job is on the microphone. Yes. Mr. Speaker, as a lawmaker and a representative of the people, it is our duty as lawmakers to defend the Constitution of Kenya on behalf of the children of Kenya who have no voice. But we have a voice, and that is why we are in this House. In line with Article 53, Mr. Speaker, that provides for the right of all children to access free basic education in Kenya and access equality in uniform and be protected from exploitation. As a mover of this motion, I am not satisfied with the response I have received from the Ministry of Education, and I still insist that the prayer that I prayed, supported by this honorable House, be honored and a policy on uniform regulation and standardization be made and put in place. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Who do you want to inform?
To inform the Chair, Committee on Implementation.
Just make a comment. He's
Chair.
Not on the floor. You only inform a member.
Yes.
Who is on the floor.
Most Advice Chair, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform Honorable Wamuchoba that the matter that he has prosecuted this afternoon is a matter that is before court. Honorable Chair, I've had the chairman on the Committee on Implementation citing circulars by the Ministry of Education purporting to stop school head teachers of schools from getting uniforms from suppliers. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the House that pursuant to a High Court petition number 5 of 2023 before the High Court of Kenya, Chuka, the High Court issued a conservatory order restraining the Ministry of Education from implementing the circular that was issued by the Ministry of Education. So, Mr. Speaker, the matter is active before court and therefore it is sub judice.
Thank you, Wakili. Yes, Elachi?
Mr. Speaker, while I appreciate that, I don't think the orders were meant for Parliament, and therefore this is a matter of very, very, very serious public interest, where we are about to have the last 844 joining high school. You can imagine how many children are about to just join school in January, and we are here as Parliament trying to imagine how the high cost of living is, and we are talking about school fees and then uniforms, and we cannot indeed tell parents that they cannot go to any shop they can afford. I think what Parliament is saying is that we want parents to be able to afford so that each child can get a uniform. And therefore, for me, Mr. Speaker, we must ask the Chair of Implementation that indeed the Ministry of Education must ensure every child has a right to go to school, to afford a school uniform, and therefore we must agree as this House that school uniform must be affordable to all our parents, and my parents who are in the slum areas in Nairobi. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to support what the Chair Implementation has just put it. That school uniform has become so inhibitive to learning, to an extent that schools, principals, and even some in the education sector have formed a cartel system, where at one time they direct parents to specific stores or shops to buy schools where they get their cut there. Honorable Speaker, a school uniform should not actually stop a child from attending
Chairman,
classes.
that's a very serious allegation against
Yes.
teachers. Do you have evidence?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Why I'm talking tough on that, Mr. Speaker, I don't have particular evidence because I have seen where some parents are directed to go to specific areas to go and buy uniform, Mr. Speaker. Why don't you allow the parent to buy any uniform anywhere for his or her child? And two, these uniforms that the parents are actually buying for their children, this is their child. Allow him or her to buy the uniform where he or she likes. And two, these stores that are actually selling this particular uniform have specific price tags. 12,000, 13,000, 2 pairs, 20,000 shillings. That's quite expensive, Mr. Speaker. So actually, let us actually go follow that particular implementation committee report and have parents buy affordable uniform for students. Thank you.
Lilian Kogo.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for this chance. And just as a by the way, probably the chair is mentioning this because he was an immediate former school principal, so he may have been, but that is just as a by the Honorable Speaker, I want to mention this. Where in the first place did the idea of school uniforms come from? Why don't we just scrap school uniforms from our schools, because it is making life so difficult for our parents? The school fees is high. Why in the first place are we letting our children put on uniforms when they are going to school? Honorable Speaker, I should propose that we should have a system that is just going to scrap off this story of school fees and story of uniforms, so that our parents are probably let to only pay for school fees. We find that the next debate you are going to have here, Honorable Speaker, is the raised school fees, because national schools are supposed to pay 53,000, and as it were, it goes to 90,000 in some schools. It goes to about 83,000. There is no standard. There is no standard fees. So I should propose, Honorable Speaker, as a member of this House, that we should just scrap all these suckers of school uniforms, and our children should be allowed to go to school in peace. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Lillian, are you saying that if you scrap uniforms, children will go to school without clothes?
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. They will not go to school without clothes, but they don't also stay home naked, Honorable Speaker. So somehow parents are going to devise ways and means of taking our children to school, because it is a headache. The reason why I raise this, Honorable Speaker, is that life is already so costly. Life is so expensive and unbearable for parents. So if we could just remove the 20, 30, 15,000 that is used for school fees, I think it's going to get the burden off our parents. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I don't want to escalate this. Can we end here on that? We'll ask now the implementation chairman has given you a report. You know what to do with it. What I don't understand, you members, is